And the reason for that is because we then, because of that, because on the other one that I actually had on the chart, the top was actually not hit right now. But if we adjust it right now, of course, we can see the tops are being respected and also the bottoms right here are also being respected. And because of that, I would actually right now like to go with this specific descending channel here on the Bitcoin chart. Once again, if we are going to break the diagonal level to the downside, in my opinion, is going to be bearish, but I am not going to go with a short because I would much rather actually, even if a diagonal, for example, here is going to see a break to the downside, I would much rather go with a buy position right here because of the very nice support level I am going to be mentioning a little bit later here on the BTC chart. But what we are actually going to do right now, we are going to remove this one from the chart, and we are actually going to also remove every single key level we actually have in our support and resistance folder right here, because I would actually like to show you, or actually I would like to update those levels if we maybe actually have even more important key levels on the Bitcoin chart. So we are going to right now go on the monthly to actually see if we actually maybe have any important monthly levels in here. Actually, we do not have, because of that we are going to go simply on the weekly time frame. So it does look like Bitcoin could actually be forming a weekly resistance level. If we are going to be closing the weekly candle in approximately 3 days and 6 hours, of course, we could be forming a weekly resistance level right here. Other than that, I would actually not apply any of the levels on the chart. We are once again going to see if the weekly level is going to be formed in approximately 3 days on the BTC chart. But what we are going to do right here, we can actually right now see Bitcoin, if the daily candle is going, actually yesterday's candle actually gave us our daily support level. I am going to talk about a little bit later about this specific daily level, but right now, if our daily candle on Bitcoin is going to get close like that, we are going to form another daily level here, and of course also another daily resistance level is going to be up here. So it does look like literally we didn't change any of the levels. Literally all of the levels right now are the same. So once again, I'm going to put them straight into our support and resistance folder. And if we do go right now on the hourly, it does look like our daily resistance level, brand new daily level, could be formed at approximately $49,010 on the BTC chart. Also, what I would actually like to do right now, let me remove that. I would also like to measure the volume around this area. Let me see, value area low. Actually, yeah, I'm going to talk about those volume levels a little bit later. But before we actually right now talk about those volume levels, let me just go back into this, or actually let me just apply on the chart this specific descending channel right here. What we can right now actually see, remember the range, actually not this one, remember the range Bitcoin right now is actually once again trading in. So this, in my opinion, it's actually very, very important, because if we do right now actually measure the volume of the entire range, something like that, what you can actually right now see, if we are measuring the entire price action, we can right now see that our value area high, volume support level for Bitcoin is right now, you can actually right now see literally exactly where Bitcoin is at the moment. Once again, at our diagonal support level, value area high, volume support level, literally exactly where BTC is at the moment as of right now. But we need to ask ourselves right now, of course, it is a support level. I would not go with any of the sell positions right here. Definitely take profit, or actually, yeah, definitely take profit area if you, for example, shorted the top right here from the golden pocket. But yeah, value area high plus also diagonal support level from this descending channel right here. So once again, it is the support level on the Bitcoin chart right now. So once again, we could be interested into a potential long position, potentially take profit or no position once again if you do not feel comfortable going with a long position as of right now here on the Bitcoin price. But I would just like to say like that right now, your invalidation level, if you are going to be trading the long position from here, of course, your stop loss most probably is going to be at approximately $45,000 area, because of course here, in my opinion, then the support level right here is actually going to end. I mean, potentially you could be setting your stop loss below the wicks, but once again, I would be careful setting the stop loss exactly below the wicks, because of course we need to be aware of potential swing failure patterns, of potential liquidity grabs that could actually occur. So I would just like to say we are at the support level. I mean, yes, I would actually say that on the hourly time frame at least. For example, if we are looking at this specific candle, it's actually a very big doji candle. So what is a doji? It actually means indecision in the market. And I mean, I am going to go on a lower term time frame in a moment to actually show you what is happening on the 15-minute time frame on Bitcoin here. But nevertheless, of course, if you look like that, we are at the area of the support level where I would only be interested going with a potential long. Once again, if you are trading right now this specific long position, stop loss, of course, could actually be, I would say, approximately 45, if not even maybe lower, because of the support level that we actually have right here, and also because of one of the very important price targets I'm going to show you in a moment. I mean, preferably right now, I would actually say I would like to see a pull to the downside for Bitcoin, because risk to reward ratio of a long position is going to be much better if we are going to be looking to go with a long approximately at around 46,000 US dollars on Bitcoin. As of right now, we are at 47,000. Yes, we are at the support level, but nevertheless, once again, the risk to reward ratio, because the stop loss, of course, needs to be below the support level, would actually be approximately 45,000 US dollars on BTC. Of course, once again, if your risk to reward ratio is valid, I would potentially potentially be looking to go with a long position here. But nevertheless, definitely, I would not be looking to go with any of the sells from where we are at the moment on Bitcoin. But let me just right now go on the 15-minute time frame, and let me right now show you a reason why I'm right now still a little bit more careful with this specific price action right here. Because, for example, if we are removing right now everything from the chart and we are zooming in a little bit on the 15-minute time frame, what we are going to right now see. Let me go with our parallel channel once again. We are going to go from the high, connect this one like that, and expand this one lower. So what we can right now see forming here on the 15-minute, maybe you can also say, of course, forming here on the 5-minute time frame. Literally throughout the day, Bitcoin has been, of course, trading in a range. Very, very nicely respected levels. High, of course, we define the range with a high, with a low, and then, of course, also with another high. But, I mean, if I'm correct on the 15-minute, let me just see. Yeah, we hit the top right here. So, of course, with our 3 pivots, we can already define a potential range. I mean, already you can see how nicely those levels have been respected today on Bitcoin. Once again, deviation here, deviation with this, of course, is very much expected. Deviation, I mean, actually, this is not a deviation. Deviation would be here. Of course, we right now hit this bottom level to the dollar almost, and right now we are approximately trading in the middle right here. So remember when we are actually talking about the ranges on this specific YouTube channel. Range, if we are pulling into the range with a dump, this already right now has a bearish, I would say a bearish bias. We pulled into the, we pulled to the downside, and right now we are actually seeing a consolidation after a dump. This right here would right now actually be considered once again bearish, and we actually have a higher probability of continuing the movement to the downside on Bitcoin. The reason for that is, of course, because we are consolidating as of right now. As I showed you before, we are seeing consolidation approximately at our support level. So consolidation at the support level. Once again, if we are forming a range after a dump, we have a higher probability of seeing another pull to the downside on Bitcoin. Once again, not with 100% probability that we are going to see continuation to the downside. This is, of course, very, very important, because I'm not saying right now we cannot see a pull to the upside, because once again, if you look like that, we are right now at the support level. But nevertheless, if we are at the support level, I would only be interested into a potential long. But if you right now see the range right here forming at the support level, could potentially actually have the bearish bias. So what is right now, in my opinion, the higher probability trade we could actually look towards to. So once again, we have the range at the support level, which would be bearish. But the thing is right now, because it's a support level, I would not go with a short position, even right now, if this specific range is right now bearish. So hopefully this makes sense right now, what I'm talking right now, because literally I'm saying we are bearish, but I would not go with a short. Once again, of course, if it's a support level, I would definitely not go with a short. I am going to show you an indication I would potentially like to see right now before I would actually fire a long position from where we are at the moment. But nevertheless, right now we are forming a range, and as I actually said before, risk to reward ratio, if we are looking to go with a long right here, in my opinion, it's actually not going to be as great, or if Bitcoin right now is actually going to see another pull to the downside, potentially actually in the next couple of hours. So Let me just right now, let me go back on the 15-minute time frame. Let me remove this descending channel here, and let me right now measure the price target of our range. So what we can do, we can simply right now, of course, extend the range to the upside, and clearly you can see $47,700 is going to right now be our theoretical price target from our range if we are going to see a break to the upside. But once again, as we usually say, trade the range until it breaks. It is right now true. We are actually once again going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth retest of the upper level right here. But once again, I can already tell you, I mean, yes, potentially I would be potentially looking to go with a breakout trade. Once again, I am going to go into that a little bit later. But nevertheless, the price target of this specific range is actually going to be $47,700. And remember right now the daily level I showed you before. Applying right now the daily levels on the chart, literally exactly to the dollar accuracy, we have the daily resistance level right here, exactly at the price target of our specific range. So because of that right now, if Bitcoin is going to see a pull to the upside, our target of the range is perfectly aligning with a daily resistance level right here, which is going to be at $47,700. Of course, because of that, it's definitely once again a very important and key resistance level on Bitcoin. I am going to talk about a little bit more about this resistance level a little bit later, but nevertheless, right here is right now going to be the price target if we are, of course, going to see a continuation once again to the upside here on the Bitcoin price. On the other hand, right now, what if the range is going to see a break to the downside? Simply right now, also we can actually adjust the range to the downside, and the price target is going to be 46,300. Of course, this level was actually at 0.65 Fibonacci retracement, or literally, of course, directly in our golden pocket. So we have right now defined price targets, and once again, if the range is going to see a break to the upside, I would simply be looking towards $47,700 on Bitcoin being our first resistance level. On the other hand, right now, if the range is going to see a break to the downside on Bitcoin, I would just like to say, as I said before, I am not going to go with a short, even if the range right now is going to see a break to the downside. Potentially, I would be looking to go with a breakout trade if the range is going to see a break to the upside. Once again, why am I not looking for short? Simply because it's a support zone with our value area high. As I actually showed you before, we are right now, of course, being at our volume support level on Bitcoin. So let's say right now, we are going to see lower price targets on Bitcoin, where in my opinion, it's a beautiful support level where I would definitely be potentially interested to go with a long or a buy position on the Bitcoin chart. What we are going to do right now, very, very simple. So just remember right now the Elliott wave price structure I was already mentioning on yesterday's live stream. I was talking about our first move to the downside, a pull to the upside. Second move to the downside, another pull to the upside, and another pull to the downside. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Every single correction right here, second Elliott wave and also fourth Elliott wave actually formed flat type of, flat corrective wave right here. What does that mean? We actually created a lower low in this case. We got the first impulse right here, A, B, C like that. Flat type of a correction right here. Another pull to the downside, lower low right here, a pull to the upside. Remember, A, B, C, and of course, another final pull to the downside. So you can right now see we got 5 Elliott wave moves right here. And of course, remember, if we got 5 waves right here, this is a potential indication that we could be forming a very simple zigzag correction. This is some kind of a type of a correction in the Elliott wave. We got our A wave right here with 5 waves. And this is the reason why I showed you on yesterday's live stream why I would be expecting ABC pull to the upside. Once again, we can right now, of course, argue how this ABC move actually looked right here, because potentially you can say right now ABC, something like that. And then, of course, we actually got a follow through to the downside. So, of course, this is the reason why yesterday I was saying to you that I would be expecting a little bit higher price targets. Nevertheless, of course, because it was a key resistance level, it was definitely, in my opinion, worth a short position right here. So, yeah, once again, it was, maybe you can actually right now say some kind of the ABC move to the upside. But remember, what is a zigzag correction? It's actually 5, 3, 5. So, what does that mean right here? We have 5 moves to the downside. We have 3 waves to the upside, and once again, in this case, of course, it's once again going to be a little bit more subjective. I would actually say how you are going to count this, but of course, if you right now look purely on the hourly, I would definitely say 1, 2, and then of course 3, 4, 5. This is, of course, I would say potentially what could develop right here with the specific zigzag correction, A, B, C, of course. But in my opinion, it's, I mean, once again, if it's a very important and very key support level here, I would definitely, of course, then you can potentially go on a lower term time frame. I am personally not even bothering right now counting the 5 waves right here because, in my opinion, it's actually not very clear. I mean, of course, you can right now say that this is right now 1 wave, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to see lower price targets, but nevertheless, once again, as I said before, at the support levels, I'm definitely potentially interested to actually go with another long position. So once again, what does that mean? 5, 3, 5. 5 moves down, 3 moves up, 5 moves down. This is once again the reason why I was yesterday showing to you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But once again, at the support level, I'm definitely not going to be very bearish. Even right now, if we right now say that this right here is right now 1 wave, maybe then, I mean, 3rd wave usually, of course, is the biggest one. I mean, once again, I'm not going to even bother right now counting the 5 waves in here, but nevertheless, at the support levels, we are definitely going to be, or at least I am going to be interested going with a potential long position here on the BTC chart. So once again, what we can right now say, if this is right now our ABC move right here, what is going to be the price target? Or I would say what is going to be a very important key level? Of course, the first price target could already be 0.618 Fibonacci extension level, going from the high, going to the low, measuring the entire wave right here, putting this one at the top of the C right here, or actually at the top of the B if you look like that. 1-to-1. Of course, 1-to-1 would be right now very obvious level, 46,000 US dollars, 45,943.5 would right now be our exact next price target on the hourly time frame on the Bybit chart right here. So once again, doesn't really matter right now if we are looking at the Fibonacci levels. Doesn't really matter right now if we are for example, potentially measuring the volume of, for example, entire price action, or maybe even with the range right here. All of the levels right now are actually a massive support level for Bitcoin is going to be at approximately point of control right here, 1-to-1 Fibonacci extension level. Once again, massive support level. We also have right here, I mean, once again, our monthly Fibonacci pivot point exactly at the specific area. So definitely it is a major support level at approximately 45,800 US dollars on the Bitcoin chart. If potentially right now we are actually going to see lower price targets in the next, let's say, couple of hours. But I mean, if we do see lower price targets, once again, I am definitely more than interested potentially going with a long right here. With a long where we are at the moment, as I said before, it is a key level. Once again, we are definitely at the support level in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, the risk to reward ratio of the trade, it's just not the best. And once again, we are also right now trading the range, which also once again does have a bearish bias. I'm not saying we are going to see a pull to the downside, but nevertheless, let's just see if Bitcoin is going to see lower price targets. Once again, if I would right now say where I would feel more comfortable going with a long here or potentially here, I would definitely go with this level because once again, it's going to be the price target of the ABC. It's also going to be our volume support level right here. It's also, if you look like that, also actually going to be the mid level of our range right here, literally at 45,800. So because of that, once again, it is a significant level where, in my opinion, only buys definitely we are not going to be interested into any sells if we are going to right now see lower price targets on Bitcoin. But right now, before we actually talk about our resistances, if Bitcoin right now is actually going to see a pull to the upside, make sure right now is actually the time for you to be smashing up the like button, because I definitely do think at least 500 likes are possible right now on this specific live stream. Make sure the like button down below actually does turn blue. Also, of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because you want to subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications because you want to get notified when we are going to make another live stream on the channel. So once again, like button definitely much then appreciated, and also of course subscribe button. Thank you very much. Let's just see right now. Bitcoin forming diamond shape at Fibonacci support and soon point of control above 45,000. Dips get bought. Price moves up soon. I mean, definitely I would actually like to say that I would be expecting a pull to the upside, but once again, pull to the upside from where we are at the moment or a little bit lower, as I said before, at approximately 45,800 US dollars on Bitcoin. That's pretty much it. I would not short here. Definitely, I would not be looking for short here because once again, we are at the support level. So in my opinion, once again, shorting at the support level, it's once again literally dangerous. So I would be very, very careful going with any of the shorts here. Yeah, I mean, once again, we are looking for shorts at the resistance level and we nailed the top. I mean, once again, just watch our yesterday's live stream. You are going to see I was actually mentioning our resistance level already I mean, we were looking at this resistance level already on yesterday's live stream. Let's see. Let's see. Mate, you are over analyzing. It's difficult to do TA in short time frames. I would actually agree with you, but to be honest, I actually have a lot of success doing technical analysis on the hourly, 2 hourly, 4 hourly, daily time frame. So, I mean, I feel very much comfortable going with TA on the hourly, for example. On the lower term time frame, it is, I would say, a little bit harder, I would actually say, but nevertheless, still, I would say, looking at the ranges, for example, they are being also, once again, very, very nicely respected. Oh my chart on the hourly, I have a descending channel lining up with a resistance level, lining up with a MACD crossover on the hourly. Wonder if we would see a short-term pump. I mean, we are going to go through the indicators in a moment. We are definitely going to see if we have actually maybe any bullish or bearish divergences on Bitcoin. I mean, even if we have bearish divergences here, once again, I would not be looking for shorts from the area where we are actually at the moment. So, I mean, we could definitely go potentially right now into the... we can definitely look if we actually have any divergences here. For example, if we would go with the MACD indicator, let me just see if this one is right now forming any divergences. Definitely zero bullish divergences here. Zero bullish divergences. 2 hourly forming a bullish divergence on MACD. Higher low right here, lower low, bullish divergence on the 2 hourly time frame. On the MACD indicator, exactly the same on the 4 hourly. On the MACD indicator, we are forming a bullish divergence. Let me see, maybe on money flow and also on the RSI indicator. Lower low on the 4 hourly, lower low on the RSI. Also not very useful. 2 hourly time frame, I would say this one is slightly bullishly diverging, and also money flow, it's also actually bullishly diverging on the 2 hourly time frame. So if you look like that, we are definitely getting some bullish divergences here. 2 hourly, 4 hourly time frame. I mean, 4 hourly, of course, depends how you're going to say that. Actually, 4 hourly, I would not really say it's a bullish divergence. On the 2 hourly, yeah, I would definitely say, of course, this would be bullishly diverging. So once again, it is the support level. It also does look like that on the MACD indicator, we are actually printing some bullish divergences. So if you look like that, definitely it is some kind of a support level. We are seeing bullish divergences here, but let's just see right now. I would like to see once again the break of the range to the upside, of course, with the increase of the volume. So if we right now actually talk about our resistances, actually before we go into the resistances, let me just drink some water. So because that give me literally 10 seconds, I'm going to drink some water. We are going to go straight into the resistances for Bitcoin. Cheers. And we are back. Actually, one more question. I actually have, is the live stream actually working fine? Or is maybe lagging right now? Because I actually do see right now some bearish indications on my internet connection here. So can actually right now can someone actually say if the live stream is actually working fine? Because maybe it's actually not sure. It's good. Oh, it's actually working fine. Nice. Or maybe it's lagging at the moment. I mean, if it's maybe lagging, sometimes it's lagging, but not that much. Yeah, it definitely does look like that bullish, mate, bullish. Okay. I mean, I do see some that maybe it is lagging a little bit. I mean, once again, hopefully it's going to get solved, everything. Naveen Dorai, welcome into the stream. Looks fine. Okay, nice. My profits are lagging. I mean, hopefully you are going to get your profits not lagging, right? Scroll back for 30 seconds. Yeah, maybe if it's lagging, maybe just scroll back 30 seconds and hopefully it's going to be fine. They are trolling you. I mean, no, actually, it's actually maybe not troll, because I can literally see here that my internet connection is just not stable right now. Once again, not exactly sure why. I mean, I am getting fiber actually, because as of right now, I actually still do not have fiber where I actually live. And in the next months, actually, I mean, I think in December, they are actually going to install fiber here. As of right now, I still do not have it, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, they are working on that, hopefully. Okay, so with that being said, let's go right now actually straight into the resistances for Bitcoin. Let me just show you where we actually have a massive resistance level incoming for Bitcoin. I mean, if we are going to actually hit this resistance level, I would actually say I would be interested into a potential short position. But definitely, most probably, I'm not going to really go with a swing position at the daily level here. Yes, maybe a scalp short at around 47,700. But once again, I'm not going to be looking to go with any of the swing shorts approximately at the daily level here. So let's see right now why the daily is actually a massive resistance level here on the Bitcoin chart. So what we are going to do right now, we are going to go with the volume. And we are going to measure the entire volume that has been forming exactly right here. So what we can right now see, we have our volume value area low resistance zone, of course, approximately at this area, approximately at our daily level, 47,700 US dollars on the Bitcoin chart. So this is right now, in my opinion, very obvious resistance level, 47,000 to, let's just say, 48,000 US dollars for Bitcoin is clearly going to be our resistance level right here. On top of that, we are going to go on the daily. We are going to go on the daily, and here we are going to measure the volume we actually already formed yesterday on Bitcoin. So what you're going to see, our previous day point of control, PDPOC, PDPOC, or actually that means previous day point of control, volume level, volume resistance level is going to be at this area. Our value area low, volume resistance level of the entire price action, it's actually also going to be exactly at the level. And also right now, if we would go with our exponential moving averages, here you're going to see, just remember right now, our 50 EMA on the hourly and 50 EMA on the 2 hourly are, in my opinion, two the most important exponential moving averages for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And our 50 EMA right now, it's actually coming to the downside, potentially, of course, also is going to align with our daily resistance level. So I would just say like that right now. If Bitcoin is going to right now see a pull to the upside, I would definitely say we have some kind of a resistance level at approximately, let's just say, 47,800 US dollars, where once again, I would be interested into a potential short. Once again, most probably not really a swing position right here, but only potential scalp short right here at approximately 47,800 with the previous day point of control, with the value area low of the entire price action, with our dynamic resistances, exponential moving averages, and also daily horizontal level, it's also actually going to be exactly at the specific area. So because of that, I would definitely like to say, if we do see right now a pull to the upside, it's actually going to be our first resistance level forming right now Bitcoin. Another resistance level that you can also, of course, be paying attention to would be with our Fibonacci retracement. If we go from swing low, if we then actually go to swing low, if we go from swing high to swing low, what we can actually right now see, our golden pocket for Bitcoin, of course, would be another key level if our daily here is actually going to see a break to the upside. So, of course, if we are right now going to see lower price targets for Bitcoin, maybe even to approximately, I don't know, 45,800, as we were mentioning before, of course, then we need to adjust our golden pocket. Maybe even our golden pocket then is going to align with our daily level. Of course, we are going to see how low this one is actually going to drop if we are going to right now see lower targets. But nevertheless, once again, of course, we have the golden pocket that this is right now, of course, in my opinion, the level that I would definitely like to pay attention to. But once again, let's just see in which direction Bitcoin is going to go. From where we are at the moment, in my opinion, as I said before, we are forming some bullish divergences. That is definitely true. We are at some kind of a support level on Bitcoin. That is also true. But on the other hand, if you look like that, as I said before, we are seeing consolidation at their support level, which would be once again considered actually bearish. So because of that, as I said before, I still haven't entered a long position. I mean, I can already tell you that I still haven't entered a long position, and I would be, as I said before, much more interested going with a long if Bitcoin right now is actually going to drop to the downside to approximately 45,800 US dollars. Literally, it needs to actually drop to for approximately, let's just see, from this one to this one would be approximately 2% pull to the downside, maybe 2.5% pull to the downside, 2.25, let's say, pull to the downside from where we are at the moment for us to actually say we have a beautiful support level. Let's just potentially go with another long position here on the Bitcoin price. Looking right now also at the market structure, because on yesterday's live stream we were actually looking at the market structure on the lower term time frame, such as the 15 minutes. So what we actually got yesterday, we got a pull to the downside, pull to the upside, pull to the downside. It was lower low right here, higher low, higher high, lower, I mean, depends how you're going to say that, but let's just say it is a lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. This actually gave us bullish market structure, but as of right now, once again, we are actually forming a lower low. So if you look like that, once again, we do have bearish market structure on the 15-minute time frame. So definitely it would actually be nice if the local market structure or local trend right here is going to change from lower highs from lower highs and lower lows to higher highs and also higher lows. So let's see if that's actually going to be the case, but nevertheless, right now, as we are at the moment, consolidation at the support level would be considered bearish. I'm not saying we are going to see or we must see a pull to the downside, because once again, we are simply trading what price action is going to give us. So if we do see lower targets, definitely interested in the potential long position. If we see a pull to the upside, I mean, once again, I'm personally not interested anymore going with swing short positions, because once again, we already right now came very, very much to the downside. And because of that, after already that big of a pull to the downside, once again, I would definitely be more interested going with a potential long swing long position, of course, right now I'm talking about. So let me also actually go with the simple moving averages. Let me just go with this one. On the hourly, we are definitely in the average downtrend if you look like that. On the hourly, this would be the average downtrend. On the 2 hourly, also, it actually does look like we are still here in the average uptrend, but the uptrend is definitely weakening because 20 is actually going below our 100 simple moving average here. So, I mean, 4 hourly, if I'm correct, we are still in the uptrend here. 3 hourly is still in the uptrend, but the uptrend is weakening. I mean, if you look at that 4 hourly, 3 hourly, 2 hourly, we are actually still in the uptrend right here. Only on the hourly time frame, Bitcoin is right now going to be in its average downtrend there. But once again, even right now, if we are in the average downtrend on the hourly, if we are at the support level, like in my opinion, literally, it's dangerous for you to be looking to go with a short position on Bitcoin. I would much rather fire another long if, for example, we are right now going to see a little bit lower price target. So if you actually want to right now trade Bitcoin and Ethereum with us, you can get up to $3,000 for free in trading bonus. On Bybit, you can actually get up to 1,000. On Famex exchange, you can get up to $2,000 for free in trading bonus. You need to sign up with this specific link down below in the description. For Bybit, of course, with this one. For Famex, with this one right here. You need to deposit some funds on the exchange. You get the bonus. You can trade with the bonus. And then, of course, also withdraw the profits to your own wallet. So all of the links, all of the bonuses are right now actually available down below in the description. Take advantage of the bonus. Literally, if you are going to sign up, you can literally place a long position with us approximately at the specific area. If we are going to go lower right now, completely for free with their money, of course, with the bonus, literally. So this is right now going to be with our Bitcoin price prediction. And I think right now we are actually also going to go straight into the Ethereum price action, or actually with Ethereum price prediction or Ethereum technical analysis. Hyper, the 47,800 would also be a bearish retest of our big ascending channel. Is it? Oh, actually, I do know what you're talking about, I think. Oh, this one right here. Exactly as you said, man. Also, it does look like, yeah, 47,800. I mean, 48,000 approximately would be this diagonal level. Of course, this one would also be, in my opinion, important level here. For Bitcoin to actually reach. Yeah, definitely does look like the diagonal level. It's literally going to be exactly at the a little above the daily level here. So yeah, also if you look at that, definitely exactly as you said, man. It could also be bearish retest of our ascending channel. We already right now broke to the downside. Diamond bottom forming on the 15-minute time frame. I mean, diamond, maybe you could say so. Maybe you can, I mean, personally, I can already tell you that most probably I'm not going to trade this diamond pattern. But, I mean, I see what you mean right now. Maybe you go something like that. You go with a diagonal support level. You go with, I don't know, something like that, I guess. And then you go with something like, I mean, depends how you're going to make this diamond pattern here. But personally, I can already tell you I'm not trading this. Maybe I'm going to trade the breakout out of the range, as I said before. But nevertheless, preferably, I would like to see a pull down right now. Preferably. Once again, I'm not sure if we are going to get that. If we are actually going to, if Bitcoin is going to do that for us, because of course would be, in my opinion, much better longs. For example, here, once again, I do not have anything preset. I'm going to be looking for the reaction at the level. If we do not get any reactions, if we are going to go straight down, I mean, the daily level would be pretty much obvious here, $44,700. But yeah, if we do get actually a reaction at the level, definitely it is going to be, in my opinion, a potential long. If you long the 48,800 as you mentioned, how far up you think? Just a guess to what resistance you're looking for. Very, very simple. Of course, I would actually say like that. When we are seeing a key level, when we see a resistance level, it is a good time potentially for take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3. So very, very simple right now. Literally, what is the resistance level I told you about right now? What is the first resistance level we can see? It's most probably be the daily. Of course, depends. I mean, depends once again. Of course, we need to remeasure the volume. If, for example, we are going to be at this area, of course, most probably potentially value area low could change. So, of course, I would be paying attention to the volume. Also, if that is going to happen, for example, tomorrow, we still need to pay attention to our previous day volume. That is also something to pay attention to. But, I mean, if you look right now with the data we have at the moment, take profit, first take profit area. I'm not closing my entire position here. Only first take profit area, 47,700. Very, very simple. So, for example, if we do go with a long, let's say, at approximately, I don't know, 45,800, 45,900, let's just say approximately this area, we are looking to go with a long. I mean, with a stop loss, actually, one more thing I actually forgot to mention. If we are looking at the ABC, so remember 1, 2, 3, this is of course zigzag correction right here. If the price target actually would be 1.236 Fibonacci extension, so going and measuring the entire one like that, once again putting this one higher. So the invalidation, or actually not invalidation, the price target would be 1.236. Once again, I would like to give my stop loss some kind of the breathing room. Of course, that it depends how you are going to manage your risk. Once again, definitely, in my opinion, stop loss would be necessary. But of course, the take profit area could simply be, of course, our daily level. Let's just say at approximately 47,700 once again. So if you look like that, this setup right here is going to give you a potential risk to reward ratio, approximately 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Valid setup. Why not? Yeah, this is literally what I'm right now looking at as of right now for BTC. If we are going to go that low. But I mean, most probably, I'm potentially also going to ladder into a long. So what does that mean? I'm going to, for example, approximately at 1-to-1 Fibonacci extension, I'm already going to be looking to go with a long. If we do go lower price targets, I mean, once again, 1.236 could also be the target of the ABC here. But why am I leaning right now more towards 1-to-1? Because simply, as I said before, it is much nicer support level than, for example, 1.236. But if you look at that, of course, once again, if we do break 1-to-1, next theoretically target from the ABC or for the zigzag correction would be 1.236 Fibonacci extension level right here. But once again, why am I mentioning 1-to-1? Because once again, of course, would be aligning with volume, with other things I actually mentioned before. Volume right now would be 45,800. So yeah, that is the reason why I'm leaning more towards the 1-to-1 and why I'm leaning right now that this one is actually potentially going to hold and go higher. If 1-to-1 gets broken down, 1.236, of course, would be the next one. Longing 1.236, I mean, daily would be then, of course, the support level. So yeah, but of course, then the next target would definitely be 1.236 Fibonacci extension. Did the stream end? Whoa, it's not working. I definitely see right now the stream is lagging a little bit. So hopefully, hopefully you can actually watch it smoothly, but it does look like right now maybe it's lagging a little bit. Dude, it's called a correction before it goes up. Patience. Exactly. Press, thank you so much for your donation. Hex USDC on the 12-hour after Ethereum, please. We can also actually go through Hex USDC a little bit later. I'm going to add this one straight into my watch list. So yeah, I think that the live stream refresh. Definitely. Okay, so it's back up. Seems okay for me. Sorry, I mean, for those interruptions, but I don't know why the internet connection today is actually lagging. I have no idea, man. I have no idea. The stream is kicking me out. Whoa. I don't know. I have my eyes on 42,200 entry and target could be close to 49,000 US dollars. Interesting. I mean, yeah, got to say Bitcoin Hyper really knows his stuff. Please listen to him. Just my advice. Thank you very much for a very nice comment. So with that being said, I think we are going to right now go straight because it's actually it is raining. It is raining outside. How did you know? Actually, yeah. I also actually heard some. How is it called? I'm not even sure how it's called, but I mean, maybe you can even say it's some kind of a thunderstorm. But yeah, outside where I actually live right now, we actually do have rain. But I mean, to be honest, I do not really see a reason why this would be the reason for the internet lagging, because I don't know, man. I don't know. Because literally, of course, if everything is cable, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if we are using this. To be honest, I have no idea. Lol Thunder. Let's just go right into Ethereum. Let's just go right now straight into Ethereum. Which country are you from? I am from Slovenia. Not Slovakia. Not Slovakia. It is actually Slovenia. It's actually the country between Italy, between Hungary, between Austria, and between Croatia. Rain, rain, go away. Exactly as you said. Storm control. Okay, so let's go right now straight into the cheers to Sri Lanka. Of course, maybe right now it's also the time for you to be smashing up the like button. Once again, subscribe if you haven't already. With that being said, let's go right now straight into the Ethereum price. So what we can see right now actually on Ethereum. Ethereum, unfortunately, did not actually get a pull to the upside that I was actually looking for, because yes, I was looking towards this golden pocket here. I was looking on Ethereum towards $3,270 US, which was clearly, of course, our golden pocket here. What actually happened? We got a front run of the, of this golden. Actually, I think it was actually, no, actually, it was not the front run. 5 cents. 5 cents of a front run if you look like that, but literally 5 cents difference. Unfortunately, I was not looking at this one on the live stream, but of course, first of all, if you already saw a resistance level hit on Bitcoin here, of course, if Bitcoin is at the resistance level, of course.
Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson, broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. The topic of the day is regulation. Regulation is coming. It's kind of like winter is coming. Although I hope this one has a more satisfying ending than Game of Thrones. So, Fox News breaking report. Let me read off the tweet for you guys. Exciting tweet. Exciting tweet. It says, according to Chris Gasparino, Joe Biden administration is in early stages of developing a regulatory approach to the booming crypto biz, sources tell Fox Business. We'll discuss with Liz Klallman and what's being kicked around, re-regulation, SEC enforcement activities, and the possibility of a Bitcoin ETF. Okay, so here's the long and the short. There is no reality that a government as regulation friendly as the United States government will allow an industry with a market capitalization of over $1 trillion to be unregulated or to live in this weird gray area of enforcement. The only reason why we haven't already seen comprehensive regulation in the cryptocurrency space is because of the political molasses of the last 5 years, 6 years of Washington. Nothing is getting done. And people have been fighting about everything from healthcare to immigration, and there hasn't been party unity. If we had a different Republican president in 2016, there would have already been regulation. Trump was just an anomaly and had different priorities and focus, and as a consequence, they didn't get around to it. If it was Jeb Bush or someone else, regulations would have been passed in the first 2 years while the Republicans maintained control over the House and the Senate. What does that mean? It means that Biden, as a creature of the swamp, he's been in Washington for over 50 years. He knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows how to pass legislation. And if you look at how he's been approaching things, he's been very systematic. The last stimulus bill, I think, was $1.3 trillion, passed without a hitch. He's negotiating hard with Joe Manchin right now about the infrastructure bill. There's a very good possibility that's going to pass with the $2 trillion he's asking for, with some mild concessions. Looks like they'll get a 25% corporate tax rate instead of a 28%, but preserve the offshore 20%. After that happens, the very next thing they're probably going to go after is a tax increase for individuals, not corporations. And it's very likely that they're going to push cryptocurrency regulation in that bill as a consumer protection package. Just like with infrastructure, they've rolled some parts of the Green New Deal in it. It's very likely that that's going to happen. Now, what is causing the urgency here? The NFT revolution, the rise and soon to be fall of Dogecoin, these types of things, and the DeFi push that's occurred. it's creating a perception of Ponzi-like trading behavior, where a copy of a copy of a copy can have a $5 billion valuation, where people overnight are becoming fabulously wealthy. And the only way they can realize that value, where many retail investors come in and purchase their tokens with the hope that the next group of people coming in will purchase their tokens for an even greater price. That's where our industry's at in many cases for many products, especially when we talk about products that are obvious copies of other products having high valuations. This is not normal for markets. There's an enormous amount of just craziness. Doge in particular, 94% of the supply is controlled by the top 1%. Every minute, over $4,000 worth of Doge is just printed out of thin air. I believe 2.2 billion per year. And permanently, it's persistent linear inflation. 10,000 tokens are produced every minute. There's no use and utility. There's no real development team. There's no vision, mission. There's no goal to go and do something over a 5 or 10 period. There's not this notion that people are buying a philosophy and they hope that that philosophy will be realized. It's really just, we're going to push it to $1 so we can all get rich. Well, tell me, who's in a better position to sell? The retail investor who's doing it on a cell phone app, or the insider who's well connected to the markets, who has a large position and can trickle sell it as it hits certain major market milestones? Whenever you see market patterns like that, what happens is the regulator gets involved because they feel they have a moral responsibility to get involved. If you doubt me, look what they did with GameStop and look what they've done with these other things. The reason they have yet to do so is because they're working systematically through. COVID relief was the first part of the agenda. Infrastructure is the next part of the agenda, and corporate tax reform. And the next thing will be personal tax reform. And because Georgia gave 2 senators to the Democrats, we're now in a position where they can run on party lines. And because there's that unity in the House for the Democratic Party, there's a very high possibility that these things will pass. The other thing is Gensler, as new chairman of the Securities Exchange Commission, has a history of being very proactive with enforcement from his prior time, and I believe it was the CFTC. And he understands our industry exceedingly well. He taught a class at MIT about cryptocurrencies. So the SEC is in a position where they, through enforcement and through soon regulatory mandate, will be in a position to be much more active on enforcement towards things that they feel are wrong. It would not surprise me that DeFi is the very first target of that enforcement, along with FinCEN and other branches of the Treasury Department. Because if you look at the utility of these things, what they're actually doing, they are right now standing in place of regulated organs in the market. Now, this is not an endorsement of this behavior. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's going to help us all and it's good for retail investors and this is great. What I'm saying is this is rhetoric. This is history. This is how these markets tend to act. These are how these actors tend to act. The Republican Party has historically been a bit more hands-off and libertarian in the way that they view regulation. Say, let the free market do its thing, even if agency failures happen. The left has been a bit more, we can't trust the free market. It's not fair. It's not equitable, or evil capitalists are going to go and screw people. So we need to be hands-on and we need to regulate. Now, these are broad generalizations. You know, the Democrats, for example, under Clinton repealed Glass-Steagall. Okay. And there was a lot of financial regulation that occurred under Bush and under H.W. Bush and so forth. Okay. So these are broad generalizations, but in general, that's the direction things go. And this particular government has been very progressive and has progressive constituencies that they do listen to, such as Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and so forth. And there's certainly a very strong demand within that wing of government to address perceived inequities, inequalities, or unfair behavior by the very wealthy against the very poor. If Elon Musk bought a few $1 million worth of Doge that's now worth $1 billion or $2 billion and is found to be dumping on poor people, kids who don't have a lot of money, you better believe that that will be the catalyst to bring in a regulator who has that kind of inequality mindset. that one of the world's wealthiest men manipulated a market so he could extract billions of dollars from the poor. Even if it didn't happen, the perception of such a thing happening or the beliefs that such a thing could happen is a justification for regulation with this particular political mindset, which does have at the moment a political monopoly. There's nothing that can be done to stop it. There's no filibuster. There's no counterparty. There's no other event. And the other party, to be frank, was not very pro-crypto. That was the party that brought us the Jay Claytons and the Stephen Mnuchin and so forth, who were not exactly the most pro-crypto around. And there were statements like Bitcoin is a bad deal amongst that administration. So it's just inconceivable to me that we're not going to see at least an attempt to pass legislation this year, which will contain a mandate about crypto. Now, on the pro side, this could potentially bring, for the first time in our industry's history in the United States, clarity, meaning asset classification, perhaps defining utility tokens, perhaps clearly defining securities law, perhaps clearly defining the roles and responsibilities of entities and how registration works and so forth. I don't believe for a moment that it's going to be very positive. I'm old enough to remember what happened with BitLicense. And I remember when the people pushing BitLicense reached out to us in industry, and we all talked about it, and they did the exact opposite. And they created a situation where New York State is now one of the worst places in the United States to run a cryptocurrency business. And very few people can qualify for BitLicense and get through that entire process, despite having spent, in some cases, millions of dollars chasing it. The people who came up with that policy are now the same people who are kind of running the Treasury Department and follow that same philosophy. I just don't believe it. I could be wrong, and perhaps my skepticism is undeserved, but it is my belief regulation's coming. So what does this mean for the industry as a whole, and in particular us, and how we approach things? We built Cardano in mind for having flexibility, because the reality is global product, and we say it's a global financial operating system. Wherever you sit on the United States, you might not be from the United States. You might be from Canada or Germany or China or from an African nation like Senegal or Ethiopia. And it's impossible to build a protocol to fit the needs of all these different people. So the point is, you have an unregulated base layer that carries instead a philosophy, a monetary policy, a control philosophy, a way to update and grow. And then when you talk about activity, which could be classified as regulated activity, you create a toolbox for the people participating in that activity to escalate and be able to do that in a way that makes their government comfortable. This is why, in addition to constructing Cardano, we also worked on an identity management system, Prism. And we worked on the standards process, DIDs, and we built all kinds of cool things and designed this to scale and enable KYC and AML. So what does it mean? It's when you issue a DApp, when you create a transaction, at some point in the life cycle of Cardano, hopefully soon, you'll be able to integrate DIDs into that. And those DIDs, you can go to a KYC entity. It might be a bank or an exchange or an independent company like Acuant, and you'll be able to upgrade that DID to carry an identity with it that's verified and a regulator would be okay with. And you can encrypt it and store it privately. You can leave it decrypted and store it transparently. And you can use it to sign transactions, sign metadata payloads, sign addresses, and so forth. That is compositional. Once you have that capability, you can talk about regulated DeFi. For example, you can talk about a DEX where all funds that enter come from authenticated addresses or whitelisted addresses or so forth. In addition to that, we built our governance system to be flexible. So right now it's focusing on ADA and the evolution of Cardano. But if you create a native token and you issue that native token on Cardano, at some point in the life cycle, you'll be able to take that and have a voting system just like ADA has a voting system. So instead of trying to figure out how to build a DAO or decentralization, you get it right in day number one. And the holders of it can control the fate, evolution, and purpose of that. In addition to that, we built a metadata standard that's been live since December. And that metadata allows you to embed hashes representing contracts, representing commercial understandings, other such things, pointers to off-chain artifacts that can assist in the escalation of regulation. Again, I can't predict who you are, where you're using this. It's my job as an architect of a system and as a designer to kind of imagine a toolkit. Now, the one good thing from regulatory clarity is it gives me business, regulatory, and technical requirements for the future editions of Cardano. And it's my belief that we can find creative ways of complying with whatever is coming that can still potentially preserve privacy and potentially preserve autonomy. The worst case scenario would be the evolution of a system where everything is centralized and a regulated financial institution has to control your money and has to control your autonomy. I think this would be one of the most damaging and catastrophically terrible outcomes for our industry. And there is a chance that that could happen. And as we get closer to whatever proposed legislation comes, if it's clear that that legislation is being written in that direction, we will do everything in our power as a company to lobby against such things from happening and try to rally the industry to lobby against such things. Unfortunately, despite the fact that the entities in our industry have made, in many cases, billions to tens of billions of dollars in the last few years off of the markets, many entities in our industry spend exceedingly low amounts of money lobbying against bad legislation or trying to interface with regulators. Now, there are some exceptions to this that are noteworthy, but for the most part, it seems to be an activity that they're either not interested in or an activity they don't think is important, as if no one listens. Meanwhile, the industry we seek to replace, the legacy financial industry, has line items allocated billions of dollars every year for lobbying, campaign financing, kind of backdoor stuff where these regulators, when they leave, they enter private industry and they end up working for these banks. For example, the current Secretary of the Treasury, I believe, received $7.1 million from industry after leaving the Federal Reserve System. So money talks. And if our industry underspends or undervalues lobbying and underspends and undervalues representing our industry's need and interests, we can only expect that the outcome is the only group of people that the politicians are going to listen to are the people who are spending. So in lieu of that, you, the people, if you're in the United States, can at least let your voices be heard. So I suspect legislation, when it comes, will not exactly, its first instantiation, be very favorable. And we'll probably publicly lobby and in many cases ask for your support to let your congressman, senator know that we think that this is counterproductive for innovation and counterproductive for our industry as a whole. But let's be clear here. This is not coming unprovoked, and this is not coming as just out of nowhere. There has been bad behavior in our industry. Market manipulation, unstable exchanges, lots of insider baseball, things like Dogecoin massively appreciating. And in the NFT marketplaces, there's a lot of evidence that these are inside bidding, where basically people are bidding amongst themselves to inflate the prices or create assets with artificially high prices. This is behavior of an unregulated financial market. We saw this exact same stuff happen in the 19th century during the baronial age, and it led to the Knickerbocker crisis in 1907. And then because there wasn't a proper response, it led to another collapse in 1929, which led to the creation of the Securities Exchange Commission in 1933. And so the pendulum tends to swing too far in the other direction when it's too far in this direction. And it is my belief it is going to happen in that way. So the next 6 to 12 months are going to be very interesting, and they're going to be a little rocky in my view. And I do believe that regulation is coming, and I do believe clarity is coming, and assets are going to be viewed very differently in 2022, 2023. And it doesn't surprise me at all to see breaking news that something is being proposed. And unfortunately, because there's a political monopoly, there's no way to negotiate this if one party is aligned. So the best that we can do is build a better toolbox for compliance. And the best we can do is to try to lobby for this industry to continue thriving. I do believe that despite what America does, crypto is still going to be crypto. There's no greater example of that than what's happening with XRP at the moment. Despite the fact that Ripple is being sued by the Securities Exchange Commission for an unregistered security, the network is still running and billions of dollars of XRP are still trading, deals are still being made, and infrastructure is still being deployed. Ordinarily, when such an event happens, the entire ecosystem rolls up and collapses for fear of the custodial entity disappearing. But that has not occurred in that case. Now, Bitcoin is 10 times larger and has a 10 times larger ecosystem. So if very counterproductive negative regulation comes, that network is still going to function as it's written. All it means is my life as an American entrepreneur is made considerably more difficult. And my country is now left behind in one of the greatest innovations since the creation of the internet. And we'll just have to sit on the sidelines as a country and watch other countries exceed. This is one of the reasons, for example, why we're so committed to Africa, because as a whole, that continent is committed to change. Laws are changing, capital controls are coming down, legal systems are becoming more accommodating. And it's my belief that DeFi is the perfect solution for the continent of Africa. And the nations there are welcoming the innovations we're building with open arms. Nothing would break my heart more than having to offshore our entire fruits of our labors and draw a wall around the entire United States because very old people passed regulation to damage an industry that they don't understand very much about for the benefit of dying legacy actors. And unfortunately, there is a chance that that could come as a consequence of a lack of foresight, investment, and political acumen on the leaders of our industry. So for our part, we'll do what we can, but we're only one of many actors. I will continue making videos, calling out bad behavior when I see it. There's a reason why ADA wasn't listed on certain exchanges for a very long time. It's because I directly confronted the leaders of those exchanges and said that them listing BitConnect and other things was immoral and wrong, amongst other things. And they took it personally and decided to take it out on an entire cryptocurrency and an entire ecosystem. But I still stand by those decisions because I just don't think it was right to endorse and enable liquidity for a Ponzi scheme. Analogously, I see many things today that deeply concern me in the NFT markets and the DeFi markets. And I think these are legitimate markets. And I think there's a lot of value that they produce. But I also think it's unrealistic for people who do very little work or copy a copy and bring very little innovation to a table to magically wake up and suddenly be worth billions of dollars. And those billions of dollars come from retail investors who have no clue what they're buying. They're just chasing avarice, believing that by buying it, they too will become millionaires. So this is just where we're at as an industry. And like all things, there's an up, there's a down, and we move on. The real players are here to stay. I don't for a moment believe Bitcoin is going to die. I have my grievances and umbrage with the mining protocol it uses, and I think it's an environmental catastrophe. And we as a company put our money where our mouth is. We spend millions of dollars every year in research and development trying to innovate our way out of such a regressive model. I don't for a minute think Ethereum is going to go away anytime soon or any of these other entrenched actors. I think they'll be around in the next 5 or 10 years. And I believe they all bring a lot to the table in that respect. But I do believe that some of the excesses in the layer 2 and some of the excesses in the dApp space and some of the behaviors of leaders and key pieces of infrastructure have been counterproductive for the growth, success, promise, and optics of our industry. So that's all I got to say about this. I'll, of course, make more videos as more things materialize. But I figured I should just put a little asterisk on my Doge commentary. It's my most popular video I ever made, 167,000 views in under 3 days. Ratios are good, 11,000 upvotes versus a few hundred down. Some positive comments, some negative comments, but I think some people missed the point. It's not about a particular cryptocurrency going way, way up. It's about a cryptocurrency where 94% of the holdings are controlled by a very small group of people who have no incentive to hold it. And now that they've become fabulously wealthy, have the ability to dump, and asking, well, who's buying and why they're buying? They're not buying a vision. They're buying a meme and a belief that they're going to get rich from that meme, that things are growing to the sky. And whenever you see that happen, when the bubble bursts, it creates a catastrophic amount of brand damage. Each and every person who loses money from something like that will have a negative perception, not just of Doge, but our industry as a whole. And some of them will demand a refund or will demand some form of retribution for what they perceive to be an ill. And if it is the case that a few billionaires on the inside were manipulating these markets for their own personal gain or bemusement, that's all that is required to pass dangerous and damaging regulations for our industry as a whole. And given that this is a commercial priority, it is a regulatory priority of the Biden administration, it's not exactly like they have to go out of their way. They just get a convenient excuse. And this is the same group of people that said, no, let no crisis go to a waste. And the same group of people that are perfectly comfortable with a great degree of government control and regulation over markets in general. That's just who they are. You may agree with it, you may disagree with it, but they were elected into office and they have a mandate to do these things if they so desire. So if our industry behaves badly or is perceiving to behave badly, and we see a lot of people not caring too much about the consequences of what they do, and a lot of people who really aren't well informed getting hurt, it's just a recipe for disaster. Also ask yourself about proper use of a cryptocurrency. You know, a long time ago, when I created my course for Bitcoin, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Crypto, I went to great lengths to explain how to securely store Bitcoin yourself. Back it up, make sure that you're not trusting it to an exchange, because at the time we had a lot of concerns with Mt. Gox, and we believed, the insiders in the industry, that they were insolvent, and it turned out that they were. The vast majority of people participating in these spikes are purchasing them and leaving them on exchanges, leaving them in cloud wallets, their cell phones. They don't really know how to use crypto, what to do with crypto, and they're only viewing it as an instrument for a vast appreciation. If that's the case, then what happens if one of these entities goes belly up? All these people lose their money. And they're, of course, going to blame crypto, not themselves, for that. So it always worries me when you have a huge surge of people with unrealistic expectations, irrational thinking, no domain knowledge or desire to acquire domain knowledge in our industry and use our stuff. And then those people are likely going to have a bad outcome. And then because they've had a bad outcome, people who seek power can use that as a symbol to gain that power and control and oversight. And they never really give it back. It takes a long time to undo damaging regulation. And in some cases, we've never been able to do that. For example, in the United States, the Patriot Act was passed right after September 11th, pitched as a temporary collection of measures to ensure that we could win the war on terrorism. 20 years later, all of the things in the Patriot Act have not only been preserved, but they've been enhanced and institutionalized even after the Snowden whistleblowing, showing you how pervasive things are. Financial regulation is no different in that respect. The minute that a new regulatory agency is constructed, the minute that a new standard is created, a corpus of law gets formed around it. Special interest groups form around it. Why is tax law so complicated? Because there's thousands of very well compensated tax attorneys. And anytime you try to simplify tax law, what you're inadvertently doing is putting them and H&R Block and the rest of these guys out of business. So they lobby against tax law being changed. Similarly, when regulations become more onerous and arcane, the incumbents like it because they already know how to comply, and it prevents startups from being able to enter their space. So it actually creates a regulatory barrier to entry. And then the accountants and the tax lawyers and these other people love it because they can make untold millions to tens of millions to hundreds of millions of dollars helping businesses stay in compliance. And then the government likes it because they like power. They like control. Our whole industry was built by someone who was afraid of the government. Why? Because he stayed anonymous. Why? Because look at everything that happened before Bitcoin came out. Look at the Liberty Dollar. Look at all these other attempts to create private currencies. The people who created them went to jail. So it's a legitimate fear. It's a legitimate concern. And if people repeatedly publicly tell you what they think and what they're going to do, you don't hand them the ammunition to go and do it unless you want to. So just do understand that and understand where I come from, where the industry is at, what I've seen being a leader in this industry, dealing with other leaders in this industry, and unrealistic expectations. What makes me most sad, and why I say that my life's work in some way has been jaded by some of these events, is that I honestly do believe that the things that we do are going to change the world. I really do. It just makes sense to say that you can build so much into the protocol to protect people from themselves or future problems. Just the other day, I was having a meeting about NFTs, and a lot of artists, they care about a social cause. It could be clean water in Africa. It could be equal education for women in technology, whatever that particular cause is. Imagine if when you sell your art, every time the art is sold for the rest of time, 10% of that transaction gets donated to the cause that the artist cared about. Imagine that. Imagine if every time a Da Vinci painting got sold, there was some foundation that Da Vinci cared about and a cause Da Vinci cared about. Maybe it was gay rights, or maybe it was rationalism, whatever it is. And that money would get donated. Imagine what that would do. The systems we're building are the first time in human history where that copyleft of royalties towards a social good could be preserved. And that's just Tuesday for us. It's a smart contract. It's just built into the protocol. The very same thing that could allow the automation of tax compliance can do the very same thing for royalties in the secondary market. And there's a billion other uses and utilities with one universal protocol. This truly is the financial stem cell. Instead, we're talking about a Shiba Inu. Instead, we're talking about when moon. Instead, we're talking about how we're all going to get rich and when Lambo, when this, when that. And that's the dialogue at the moment. This is the belief at the moment. Lumber is up 117% from last year. Why in God's name would you want to go accrue huge amounts of dollars? They're not going to be around much longer if we keep spending this way. Look at Europe. We're at negative interest rates. The world financial system is falling apart. Every major democracy is laden with gargantuan amounts of debt, in some cases over 200% of their GDP. I'm sorry, the world financial system is sick. If it was a human, it has cancer, and it may be terminal. It may be treatable. We don't know. And no one is honest. No one wants to admit that it's not good policy, that every time you want something, you don't have to make hard decisions. Instead, you just print money out of thin air, but yet inflation doesn't exist. And that carries into the behavior of the people. So the short-term avarice on the government side and short-term avarice on our ecosystem side, unfortunately creates a reality where when we look at the real use cases and utility systems, truly fair marketplaces, truly transparent marketplaces, contracts that can't lie, contracts that give you a guarantee that you're treated fairly, regardless of your last name or the country you're born into. All of that takes second fiddle to where we would like to go as an industry. This is why I take these things so seriously. And this is why sometimes I have so much lament over what's happened. So, my belief, regulation is coming. It's my belief it's going to come this year. It's my belief it's going to be a big discussion, and that the industry as a whole hopefully will rally and get involved in these types of things. And I think that we'll find a way to get out of it, as we always do. And I don't believe any U.S. regulation will ultimately kill cryptocurrencies. I think cryptocurrencies are here to stay. And I think ultimately cryptocurrencies will be successful. The only thing I think bad regulation will do is harm my country and harm our economy, and not harm crypto in the long term. I also believe that some of the behavior that we are seeing in the NFT and in the DeFi space and in some of the infrastructure side is counterproductive to the industry's ability to actually deliver on its promises. And I do believe there are some bad actors in this industry. Some people think I'm a bad actor. They never exactly explain why or correlate why with what I've actually done and the accomplishments I have, but they certainly believe it. And I'll call out some of the people that I think are behaving badly and behavior that's badly, even if it's from a commercial viewpoint counterproductive. I gain nothing by calling out Elon Musk other than limiting my ability to work with his business empire. But I still think it's bad behavior. In the best case scenario, it's trolling people into doing something that's financially irresponsible. In a cynical worst case scenario, he could be actually taking their money. In either event, it's despicable. And again, I gain nothing by calling it out, and no one in our industry seems to have the courage to do so. But I have to do my conscience. I have to follow my conscience in that respect. So until next time, thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson, broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. The topic of the day is regulation. Regulation is coming. It's kind of like winter is coming. Although I hope this one has a more satisfying ending than Game of Thrones. So, Fox News breaking report. Let me read off the tweet for you guys. Exciting tweet. Exciting tweet. It says, according to Chris Gasparino, Joe Biden administration is in early stages of developing a regulatory approach to the booming crypto biz, sources tell Fox Business. We'll discuss with Liz Klauman and what's being kicked around, re-regulation, SEC enforcement activities, and the possibility of a Bitcoin ETF. Okay, so here's the long and the short. There is no reality that a government as regulation friendly as the United States government will allow an industry with a market capitalization of over $1 trillion to be unregulated or to live in this weird gray area of enforcement. The only reason why we haven't already seen comprehensive regulation in the cryptocurrency space is because of the political molasses of the last 5 years, 6 years of Washington. Nothing is getting done. And people have been fighting about everything from healthcare to immigration, and there hasn't been party unity. If we had a different Republican president in 2016, there would have already been regulation. Trump was just an anomaly and had different priorities and focus, and as a consequence, they didn't get around to it. If it was Jeb Bush or someone else, regulations would have been passed in the first 2 years while the Republicans maintained control over the House and the Senate. What does that mean? It means that Biden, as a creature of the swamp, he's been in Washington for over 50 years. He knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows how to pass legislation. And if you look at how he's been approaching things, he's been very systematic. The last stimulus bill, I think, was $1.3 trillion, passed without a hitch. He's negotiating hard with Joe Manchin right now about the infrastructure bill. There's a very good possibility that's going to pass with the $2 trillion he's asking for with some mild concessions. Looks like they'll get a 25% corporate tax rate instead of a 28%, but preserve the offshore 20%. After that happens, the very next thing they're probably going to go after is a tax increase for individuals, not corporations. And it's very likely that they're going to push cryptocurrency regulation in that bill as a consumer protection package. Just like with infrastructure, they've rolled some parts of the Green New Deal in it. It's very likely that that's going to happen. Now, what is causing the urgency here? The NFT revolution, the rise and soon to be fall of Dogecoin, these types of things, and the DeFi push that's occurred. It's creating a perception of Ponzi-like trading behavior, where a copy of a copy of a copy can have a $5 billion valuation, where people overnight are becoming fabulously wealthy, and the only way they can realize that value, where many retail investors come in and purchase their tokens with the hope that the next group of people coming in will purchase their tokens for an even greater price. That's where our industry's at in many cases for many products, especially when we talk about products that are obvious copies of other products having high valuations. This is not normal for markets. There's an enormous amount of just craziness. Doge in particular, 94% of the supply is controlled by the top 1%. Every minute, over $4,000 worth of Doge is just printed out of thin air. I believe 2.2 billion per year. And permanently, it's persistent linear inflation. 10,000 tokens are produced every minute. There's no use in utility. There's no real development team. There's no vision, mission